All right, so now that we have a little bit of a better understanding of how these proofs work, we've got one that's a little bit lengthy here, but we can get through it. We have all of our choices down at the bottom. Remember, most of the time when we're looking at these, knowing that they're algebraic proofs, all of our numbers are going to be what we are looking at for the statements. And then all of our words are going to be mostly probably our reasons. So again, we always start with what's given. So -7 times x minus 4 plus 2x equals -2 times x minus 5. So I'm going to sort through here and find that one and drag it up to my statements. And now the reason for that is simply because it's given. That's what the problem tells me. Now if I'm looking at what I have down here as far as steps to go next, I can see that in order to solve this, I'm going to have to get those x's out of the parentheses, and I can do that with the distributive property. I can distribute this -7 and distribute this -2 so that I end up with x's that are all outside of parentheses. Now on the left side here, I see a -7x and a +2x. So for those, I can combine my like terms since they're on the same side of the equal sign. So -7x plus 2x will give me -5x plus 28, and then the other side stays the same. Now, when we do something like combining like terms, our reason or justification for that is that we are simplifying. It's another one of those kind of weird ones. It's not really a property, but we're just simplifying the problem because by combining those like terms. Now my next step, I have an x on the left side of the equal sign and an x on the right side of the equal sign. I'm going to have to get those to the same side. So in this case, if I kind of look at what I have down here, I'm going to be adding 2x to both sides. And that'll leave me with -3x plus 28 equals 10. When I add the same thing to both sides and they're still equal, that's my addition property of equality. Now I have a two-step equation. This is kind of what we started at in the last video. I'm going to subtract 28 from both sides, which would be my subtraction property of equality. Next step, which takes me again back to what I'm trying to prove, is that x equals 6. And how I go from step 5 to step 6 is by dividing on both sides. So my division property of equality. You guys want to go ahead and pause here and give this one a try. You have some choices down at the bottom. If you're handwriting, you can just kind of cross them off. Or if you are doing this on the computer, maybe you can drag and drop. I'm not sure what capabilities you guys have. And then we'll go over it in just a second. All right, so given. Always start with what's given, so I take exactly what is in that question there, and my reason is simply that it's given. Now again, I have x's inside of my parentheses, so I know I'm going to have to distribute to get them out. And if I distribute that, I get 16 minus 8x equals -24x minus 14. From here now, I've got x's on both sides of the equal sign, so my next step is going to be to get those all on the same side. So I have 16x plus 16 equals -14. Now, how I went from step 2 to step 3 is that I added 24x to both sides, which is my addition property of equality. Now we're back down to a two-step equation, so my next step here is going to be to subtract 16 from both sides so I can get rid of that, which would be my subtraction property of equality since I subtracted from both sides. And that leaves me with x equals -15 over 8, which is what I'm trying to prove, and that is my division property of equality, because if I look at the bottom here, if I have 16x equals -30, I divide both sides by 16, so x equals -30 over 16. I can simplify that fraction by dividing it by 2 over 2, and that's where I get the -15 over 8. Okay, so again, we don't have to show every single step here. What we do have to show is our reasons or our justifications in that second column.